Hello, and welcome to everyone across the nation joining today's workshop on how to register computers. This is Martha Perez with the CASAS Technology Support Team, and I will be presenting today's workshop. This workshop focuses on using CASAS e-tests online to register computers as testing stations to prepare for live testing. This is one of 23 complimentary CASAS online implementation basics workshops. We highly recommend attending as many workshops possible to learn about best practices and ask questions to become confident in using the online system. Online help is available on our website from training and support for e-tests online and TOPS Pro Enterprise. You will want to be sure and bookmark these as your electronic go-to resources. Electronic resources are updated periodically, so going to them will help to ensure you are receiving the most current information. Information for today's workshop comes from eTests Online Help, Online User Guide. From sections 2.1 System Compatibility, 2.2 Facility Verification, and 3.1 Registering Computers. Again, you will want to bookmark this as an electronic resource. This guide has hyperlinks throughout to help you move quickly between sections. Okay. You can also search keywords to pinpoint by doing Control F and pinpoint specific information. Now, before we get started, let's see. I want to be sure and point out where you will find access to CASAS e-tests online and TOPS Pro Enterprise online. Notice the URLs I just pasted in the chat box. This is the main domain name address you will use when your agency is set up with an online database. This is commonly referred to as the production server, where live data is produced. Now, for today's workshop, I will be using the simulation server. This is available to anyone wanting to experiment and explore our online system without risk of compromising live data. Now, you will find information on how to access the simulation server on our website from training and support, e-tests online help, and getting started. And download the simulation server. Download the simulation server document. Right? Well, let's begin, and please feel free to ask questions along the way. Now, registering computers as testing stations is a one-time task per machine. Only registered testing stations are recognized by the online system and validated by the agency to deliver CASAS web-based tests. Computers remain registered and may be unregistered at any time when no longer needed as a testing station. No additional hardware or software is needed to register computers other than having internet connection. Presently, CASAS eTests Online runs in Microsoft Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, and Google Chrome web browsers. Presently, computers must use a Microsoft Windows operating system with the Microsoft Silverlight plugin. We are developing a new delivery for CASAS web-based tests that will allow you to use non-Windows computers such as Chromebooks or iPads. Now, the new delivery will allow you to also use different web browsers such as Apple's Safari, but this is not in place yet, but you will receive information when this is coming out. Okay. Now, registering computers must be done at each machine. Each computer requires 2 certified individuals to validate the registration of each computer as a testing station. Now, this can be either 2 coordinators, 2 proctors directed at a direction of a coordinator, or 1 of each. Coordinators and proctors perform this task at each computer through station management. Now, to begin the station registration process, launch the web browser, etestonline.org. In this case, we're using the Rolling Hills simulation server. Now, click Register this computer. You are prompted to run the executable, the CASAS test.exe file. And registering computers does not require installation of any permanent files. Instead, the CASAS tests executable file runs locally to initiate contact with the online hosted server for station registration and test administration. You may be prompted to click Run a second time depending on your browser settings. Now, click Run. Wait for the test delivery system to load. Now, the first person to log in to station management at the computer initiates the registration process. A coordinator or proctor enters user credentials. Now, the agency ID is provided or issued by CASAS. For the simulation server, enter 4908. Now, the username is issued by the agency. We recommend the email address used for certification. For the simulation server, enter a generic account for coordinators or proctors. Use a number from 1 to 50 after coordinator or proctor. In this case, I will use coordinator 15 at rhas.org. Now, the password is issued by the agency. For the simulation server, use the word coordinator, all lowercase, for coordinators, and proctor, all lowercase, for proctors. Now, after entering user credentials, click Login. Click the drop-down menu to select Site, where the computer is located. Sites are set up by CASAS from information submitted by the agency through the online site agreement. The next field is to identify the lab where the computer is located. The information is provided by the agency. Now, this may be a name and or a number of a room or building. The last field is for station name. This information is also provided by the agency. This may be a name and or number to identify the computer's position in the room or building at the site location. Okay. Now, registration status will change to pending after the first person initiates registration by clicking Register. Otherwise, the station is not registered. Identification number about the computer, such as the machine's media access control or MAC address, is recorded on the hosted server. Now click Register. Another user must confirm this registration. Click OK. Now the screen returns to Station Management Login. Now a second person must log in to Station Management to validate the registration. Information from the last logged on user is automatically displayed, as you can see. Now a second coordinator or proctor enters user credentials. The agency ID remains the same. The username is issued by the agency. Now again, we recommend the email address used for certification. Now for the simulation server, enter a generic account. For proctors, use a proctor from 1 to 50 after the word proctor, as I did here. And the password is typically issued by the agency. Now for the simulation server, you can use the word proctor, all lowercase, for the proctor accounts. Now after entering user credentials, click login. Notice that this information in red is stating to finish the registration of this computer, you just have to click register. Now the second person does not and should not change any registration information and just click the register button. The second person may confirm at any time if he or she is not available when the first person initiates registration. The status remains pending until the second person confirms registration. Now, to confirm registration, click register. You will know when the station is registered by the pop-up message stating station registered. Yay! Now click OK. Now for test security, the refresh button displays on a registered testing station until the proctor either starts a testing session or adds the testing station to an active session. Information along the top right of a testing station displays registration. At the top left. Displays registration information about the agency. In this case, we're using the Rolling Hills Adult School, about the site, North Campus, and lab. In this case, Assessment Center, as well as the station, AC01. Now, the current date and time is also displaying at top middle of the testing station. Now, this information will display in red lettering to warn you if the computer clock is not synchronized with an internet time server. Now, this is important to take note, and directions to synchronize computer clocks are available from eTest Online Help, Getting Started, and information. Now, to unregister a station from the computer at the top right, click Station Management link. Now, only a certified coordinator may unregister a computer as a testing station. Okay, now click the Station Management. So the coordinator enters his user credentials and then clicks Login. A computer may be unregistered only if not assigned to a testing session and if not in use. To unregister the computer from station registration, click Unregister. A pop-up message asks, "Are you sure you want to unregister?" You can click Yes if you are sure. Now, a pop-up message will confirm that the computer is unregistered. The screen returns to Station Management Login. For now, we will click No. Now, to log out and exit Station Management, click the Logout link. This returns you to the testing screen. Now, for test security, the refresh button displays until the proctor either starts a testing session or adds the testing station to an active session. Renaming the lab or station name must be done from the computer. So at the top right, click Station Management link. Now, a certified coordinator or proctor may rename station registration information. In this case, I'll sign in as a proctor. Okay. And click Login after entering my credentials. Now, computer registration information may be changed even if the station is assigned to a testing session, but cannot be changed when the station is in use. Now, to rename the station registration, enter a new lab name and/or station name, and then click Register. A pop-up message will display to state station registered. For now, we will not rename any registration information and instead click the Logout link and exit the station management and click the Logout link again. Now this returns you to the testing screen. Oops. Sorry about that. I'm going to launch again the register this computer and click the run to run the CASAS test.exe file. Sorry about that, folks. I think I went too far on logging out. Now again, for test security, the refresh button displays until the proctor starts a testing session. I will give it a little more moment to load. As I said, the refresh button displays until the proctor either starts a testing session or adds this testing station to an active session. Now you can click on the station management link to unregister a station. And like I demonstrated a few moments ago, station management link to unregister a station or rename registration information. Now click on this testing station link to return to the testing screen. Okay. Now to close the testing application, at upper far right, click the exit link. Okay. Now to see a list of testing stations from the CASAS Online Management Console, click Sign In. Now both coordinators and proctors may access the management console and view the list of testing stations. So enter the same user credentials when registering stations. So I'm going to use my coordinator 15 account. Enter the agency ID for the simulation server 4908, username, and the password. As you remember, in this case, we can use the word coordinator, all lowercase, for password in the Rolling Hills Adult School, and click Login. Now, from the Application Management menu, click the Testing Stations menu. A list of testing stations displays. Now, this list is commonly referred to as a testing stations lister. The default sort order is by site, lab name, and then by station name. So this will appear first in order of alphabetical order, as well as laboratory name, and then the station name. Now the computer's MAC address is displayed, as you can see, and the registration status also displays. Now, if registration is incomplete, the status will display pending instead of registered. Each of these columns are clickable to change the sort order, as you can see. Now, the list will continue to grow as stations are being registered. You can expand the filter for advanced options to locate information about stations. Now you can use, you can filter at a specific site with a specific station name, or in a specific lab. Okay. Now, pending, supervised, and used status filtering options are also available. Now, for example, to see a list of stations at the North Campus, in Site Field, enter North Campus as I did previously, and then you can click the refresh button. I'm going to get rid of all these other information that I entered previously just to filter for stations registered at the North Campus, and click the refresh button. You can collapse the filter so you can see the stations, and these two stations were registered at the same campus, or we're looking at the same stations lister. Now, we demonstrated one method to unregister a station at the computer from station management. Now, another method is from the testing stations menu when signed in to the management console. Now, only a certified coordinator may unregister a computer only if not assigned to a testing session. You can click Sessions to remove this station. Now you can click on Sessions to remove station from the session configuration and then unregister the station. So I'm going to go back, click on Sessions. Oh, I'm sorry, folks. I need to go back to my testing stations and unregister from here. If not in use, you can point to View Active and wait until the computer is no longer being used for testing. I'm going to click on Testing Sessions and View Active. Now, to unregister the computer from the management console, you can click on Register. Unregister. Okay. Forgive me, folks. I am going through several tabs at the same time, and I'm going to go through again through the testing stations management. So you can click on View Active and wait until the computer is no longer being used for testing, and then unregister the station. This is not in use currently. So I'm sorry, folks, let's go back. Okay. This should point me to unregister this machine. Oh, this is unregister. And then, are you sure you want to unregister AC01 station? You can click OK if you are sure. Now, a pop-up message will confirm that the computer is unregistered. Now, the screen returns to the testing stations lister. For now, we will click Cancel. Now, CASAS eTest Online places navigation links at the top far right of each application management screen. Now, it is important to use these navigation links when working with application management. By habit, you may catch yourself on using your web browser back arrow. Now, if you do, you are automatically logged out of the application and must log back in again to continue working. Now, to return to the application management main screen from the testing stations lister, at top far right, click the back link. If you are finished working in CASAS eTest Online application management, then you may click again at the upper right, far right, click the logout link. Now, after logging out, it is now safe to use the web browser arrow and click the back link. Return to the main web. This will return you to the main web page. Are there any questions? All right, I will take that as a no. Now, for now, folks, each workshop in a set of CASAS Online implementation basics builds on the last in a logical progression for helping you to get up and running with the online system. If you missed a workshop, we posted a playlist from past recordings so that you may review a previously attended workshop or preview an upcoming workshop. You may access them from Training and Support, eTest Online Help, CASAS Online Implementation Basics link. And you can also access them and others from our social media newsroom link on the CASAS YouTube channel. Okay, great. Now, please note that the information I just pasted in the chat box is about our technology support team. The tech support team is available to provide any technical assistance you may need to ensure successful implementation. Now, this email address alerts a support team that includes several members. Communicating to the larger group will help us to ensure you receive a timely response. Now, team members are also available from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday. Are there any last-minute questions, folks, before we wrap it up? All right. Now, we look forward to you joining us for the next workshop on how to create testing sessions. Now, this workshop will introduce you the test interface. Now, thank you for your time, and this concludes the workshop on how to register computers.